Okay, good morning, everyone. We have here today Professor Warren Palmer, who taught economics at Beloit College for 26 years, and he was the news chair and directed the Upton programs for 4 years. So thank you, Warren, for allowing me to interview you today. So yes, my first question for you is, so what did you enjoy most about being the news chair directing the Upton programs?
Well, I don't know that I could say one single thing because there were two main things that were really quite spectacular about being able to direct this program. The first was to be able to devise a theme for an Upton forum, and then to know that I could go out and invite anyone in the world really who was a leading expert, and that likely they would accept the invitation to be the Upton Scholar, and then to be able to assemble a whole team of other speakers to come during Upton Week. That gave such a great scope for entrepreneurship, intellectual entrepreneurship. That was really delightful. But equally delightful was being able to engage with our our students, our seniors in the econ senior seminar. So and get them to interact with our Upton scholar and the other scholars. So it really was the combination of inviting these great scholars and practitioners to campus and then having our students interact with them. That was really quite delightful.
Well, I've been directing the Upton programs after you in the last few years, and I have to say I couldn't agree more. Okay, so of the Upton forums that you organized, so which one did you enjoy the most? Which one that are you most proud of, or made the best impression on you?
Well, each of them was really quite spectacular. And that's a hard question to answer because each really stood out in their own way. But the first one I did in 2014, and then the last one in 2017, in some way are the bookends to my Upton career and addressed the same theme. Uh, and the first one looked at economic policy and the challenges of climate change. And the last one I did was called Energy and the Wealth of Nations. Uh, and really, these two overlapped. In the first one, we were able to recruit Robert N. Stavens from Harvard, who came to campus and just was quite spectacular in his interacting with students, with all the forums that we had. We had 3 panel discussions while we were here. And leading up to that Upton Forum, I organized a brown bag series on the science of climate change, and 8 of our Beloit College science professors came in and presented some aspect of the science of climate change in the weeks leading up to the Upton Forum. The other thing I think was special, particularly about these forums that focus very much on climate change, was that it allowed us to shift from simply looking at all the ways in which markets have helped build the wealth of nations. The Upton Forum very much was inspired by the themes of Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. But in these 2 forums, we really pivoted to look at one of the greatest threats to the continued growth of wealth and prosperity in the human world, and that is the threat of climate change. And this is particularly important because we know that markets work really well when they're able to internalize all the costs and benefits of economic actions. But of course, with climate change, what we have is a problem where there's an enormous externality in the market, particularly for fossil fuels, that gets totally ignored. Uh, and there's been a controversy that has been manufactured by fossil fuel companies and um, other organizations to make it seem as if there's some question about whether climate change is actually occurring. And we know that it is occurring. If anything, the science has, because science is inherently conservative, has underestimated the impact and the speed of it. So it was quite a pivot that we took in looking at this. And we brought to campus just an exciting team of speakers for both of these Upton forums. And the students, who very much are aware of climate change as a potential threat to their future, very much responded positively. Um, so in these Upton Forum, in the senior econ senior seminars, we really very much went into the economics of externalities, really the economics of the environment and of the energy sector. And it gave the students a great in-depth dive into those topics. And then they were able to see those developed by all the speakers who came to campus.
Well, I remember attending that Upton Forum, and I remember being so impressed. I mean, I don't have a count, but I think that was probably the most well attended Upton Forums of all the ones I've been to, or even including the one that I organized. I was really impressed by how you engaged the whole campus, and that really inspired me when, in the later years when I started directing the Upton Forum too. So I'm glad you talk about that particular forum. Um, so I guess my next question is about students. So how do you think students benefit from these programs, especially in terms of preparing for their future lives and their future careers?
Well, I think one of the ways in which this program benefits students and carries over into their future careers is it really helps them understand how much they're capable of, and it demystifies a mystique around experts. Because as you know, we're bringing world-class scholars, Nobel Prize winners sometimes, or future Nobel Prize winners. I'm expecting that some of the scholars we've had will be honored in that way in the future. And our students, rather than simply reading the work of top scholars or seeing news articles about the top scholars, are meeting them face to face on campus. Uh, they're preparing for this by deeply studying these scholars' work in this Econ Senior Seminar. And then when we bring the Upton Scholar and the whole supporting team of scholars and practitioners to campus, the students engage with them as well. And one of the things I've been so impressed with, both before I became the NEAS chair and during my own time as the NEAS chair, is how well our students did at taking advantage of this opportunity and then to be able to engage in a conversation, back and forth communication with the scholars. And my expectation is that that was probably the thing that was most beneficial to them. To all of a sudden be given the chance to see that they are able to function at that intellectual level with people with that degree of accomplishment. Um, I think it had to have given them a confidence that they wouldn't have had before. And in conversations with students, and I'm sure you've had the same experience, they would talk about the impact that that had on them and how much they appreciated the ability to simply have a one-on-one conversation with someone who was a top scholar in their field. Uh, it would be really interesting to be able to talk to our students and find out as they go through their careers how that experience is echoed for them.
Well, thank you. So thank you for spending these few minutes for this interview. I'm sure the alum will be very happy to watch a short video of their favorite professor. Thank you.
You're most welcome.